kiss and cuddle out of feelings wide. I close my eyes 'cause she's only a dream tonight. We kiss and cuddle out of feelings wide. I close my eyes 'cause she's only a dream. She's only a dream. She's only a dream. Ooh, hey, 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 hey. Well, hey, Motor Warriors. Man, I tell you what, I can get lost out in here. Murfreesboro, Tennessee has grown so much and changed that when I come into town sometimes I really got to think about where I'm at, because I get into areas like this near the avenue where I don't come to very often, and it's like there's so much new growth here, new buildings. It's like, where am I? But anyway, that's not the topic of the video. As I'm sure as the entire planet knows, that Ozzy Osbourne, people know him from Black Sabbath, and I just wanted to share my experience seeing him live. When I was a much younger fella, I used to go to a lot of concerts. I mean, sometime I'll have to sit down and try and remember all of the bands I went and saw, and do a video about that sometime. But anyway, I was up visiting my family, my aunts and uncles and my cousins up in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and spending a couple of weeks up there with them. And one of my cousins, that him and I were closest, you know, and he said, have you heard Black Sabbath is going to play down in Madison? And I said, no, I didn't know that. And he said, yeah, there's a group of us going. And I'm like, oh, well, good for you. And he said, well, you're part of the group. And I'm like, well, I didn't buy a ticket. I don't have a ticket. And he bought me one. They bought an extra one knowing that I'd probably go with them. And I did. So that was kind of cool. But the first band, trying to remember the name of the band, like Doom or something. I forget what it is now. But I love these white boys listening, bobbing around, listening to rap music like they think they're black. Hopefully you can still hear me over that. But anyway, so they bought me my cousin bought me a ticket so I could go with him and his friends. So we had a good time going down there and everything. And it was in this place, I think it's called something else. I don't know, I don't get there very often, but it used to be called the Dane County Coliseum or something. It was a pretty big event, event place or whatever, the Coliseum. And the first band came out in time, and there was some other British band. They were called like Doom or so, I forget. It's been so many years ago. You're talking like 1974 or something like that. And I think that they only did cover for him, for Black Sabbath like once, and then I think they broke up as a band after that. So I don't remember. There was nothing special about them that I even remember. I just remember that there was a band that was playing. I think they were called like Doom or something, and then after that they were a thing of the past. But I remember that we had tickets that were like halfway up into the Coliseum. There's all these white people blasting that crap, man. I'm trying to do a video and it's like I can't hear it. This is Tennessee, man. Anyway, sorry for the editing here. It's these white boys, pulling up at the lights and stuff, blasting. They got all their windows down, blasting rap music where every other word is the N word. And I'm like, yeah, you're a white boy and you sing that, you're going to be accused of a hate crime, man. It's like crazy. But anyway, so Doom or whatever they were like nothing. But they came over the loudspeaker and said that Black Sabbath's gear got put on the wrong plane from wherever they were to come to the Dane County Coliseum. And it's like, they said as soon as it gets here, we've got people at the airport waiting to bring it in. It's going to be a little bit. Half an hour went by. People are getting like, come on, man. An hour goes by. People are like, what the heck, man? Come on. Are you going to cancel the concert or what? This is crazy. It was like an hour and a half later, and they said, all right, ladies and gentlemen, everything's, set to go and whatever. And it's like people started cheering and screaming, and they're all excited that they're finally, got their equipment set up and they're going to start playing. Because you could see guys in the shadows with like flashlights and stuff running, trying to get stuff set up and whatever. And then all of a sudden, you could see people coming out onto the stage, and you could hear Tony Iommi start to play his guitar, and people are going nuts. They're all excited, like, here we go. And then the lights come on, and you could see the band. You could see, and they were, I think they were doing Iron Man, and Ozzy Osbourne has got a hold of the mic, and you could see that he was moving his mouth, but nothing was happening. So he starts tapping the mic, there's no sound. He looks off to the side, he holds up the mic and whatever, and you can see like the soundboard down in the middle of the floor area. They're like guys running towards it, like checking stuff or whatever. Somebody forgot to plug something in, because right as he finally gets fed up, he takes the mic and throws it right as they flipped the switch or plugged it in or whatever they needed to do. So right as he threw it, it came on. You could hear the mic go boom, and then it bounced up inside the drum kit, the floor tom or whatever, and it's like boom, 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 boom. You could hear it banging around inside there, and it's like he stormed off the stage. The rest of the band fizzled out playing. They stopped, put down their stuff, and got up and walked off stage. Man, people started going ballistic with rage. They'd been waiting, we were waiting for like an hour and a half, and here they are. They start singing, start playing. We can't even hear Ozzy Osbourne singing. He throws down the mic. They all walk off stage. Man, a small riot started to happen. Now, I don't know what the person did, but there was a guy, I remember seeing a guy run across. They were down in the floor part. Saw a guy running through the crowd, trying to run his way through the crowd, and there's like security people chasing after the guy. Well, somebody up behind us, closer up to the nosebleed section or whatever, had an empty Jack Daniels bottle, or mostly empty, and they threw that bottle, and we could see it fly over our heads, and watch it go as it landed. It was almost like slow motion. And it didn't hit I think they were trying to hit the guys chasing the dude, the security people. Instead, it hit the guy they were after. Boom! You could see it looked like blood, spattering out of the side of the guy's head. He dropped like a bag of wet underwear. Down he went, boom, out cold. Well, now all of a sudden they got, paramedics coming with stretchers and whatever, and they're down there working on the guy. This is going on. People are throwing stuff. People are lighting off firecrackers and bottle rockets and all that other junk that used to happen. And then they started, being more strict about that afterwards. But we're talking like I said, 1977. But the whole arena almost erupted into a riot. People were outraged. Wait an hour and a half. They come out, don't even play, and then walk off stage. Man, that was like really enough to make you angry. Well, they finally got the person that got hit with the bottle. They took him away on the stretcher, and things started to calm down a little bit. They came over on the speaker and said they're talking to the band right now. Everybody's trying to calm down. They've fixed the situation, and they're going to see if they can get, Black Sabbath to come back out. So after a little bit, they're like, okay, we worked out an agreement. There was a problem with Ozzy's mic. Everything's taken care of now. So now, they're going to come out, but we need everybody to calm down, because they're not going to come out here if people are still throwing bottles, because it's too dangerous for the band. Well, people stopped throwing stuff. People started behaving. you know, and then all of a sudden they came out and they sang. I kid you not, man. They played 4 songs. 4 songs. That was it. 4 songs. And said, thanks, good night, and left. Didn't come back for an encore, didn't do anything. Well, they were done. 4 songs and they were done. And, you know, tickets back then were a lot cheaper than they are today, but still it was a, you know, decent amount of money for all of us to drive down there and eat on the road and whatever. I mean, you know, a lot of people were really mad. And ended up being that when they left and didn't come back for an encore or anything, bottles went flying through the air. You could smell weed burning in the place, and I mean, people went nuts. And there was people saying they were never going to watch Black Sabbath again, and I'm like, yeah, well, you think he's going to ever come back to the Coliseum? He's probably never going to come back here. Even if they wanted him to, he probably wouldn't, because he had such a bad experience, you know. And don't pull in front of me, thank you. But it was like, it was really pretty crazy. It's like I was kind of disappointed because I used to really like Black Sabbath back in the day, and to have them come out and eventually only do 4 songs once they got everything fixed, you know, and then leave and not even do any kind of encore. I'd been to so many concerts, and I'd never been to a concert where it was only like 4 songs and they wouldn't even do an encore. I mean, it was nuts. But that was my experience seeing Black Sabbath. I just thought I'd share that with you. And like I said, I'd been to so many concerts in my younger days with friends of mine and cousins and whatever. I'd been all over, been to Nashville for concerts, Knoxville for concerts, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin. I mean, I think I even went to Chicago for a concert before. But I'd have to stop and think about all that and do a video about it. But anywho, yeah, it finally cooled down today. We had like a few weeks of triple-digit heat and no break, no let up. At night it would get down into the 80s and I'd be on my bike and feel cold, because after you've been out and riding in the heat when it's like 115 degrees, you go riding when it's 80 and it feels cold. But today is in the low 80s and it's like, man, it sure is nice. It feels kind of chilly, but man, I take the low 80s any day over 115. And I'd take 115 over 10 degrees. I'd rather have it too warm than too cold. But I know people have different opinions about that. One of my brothers said he'd rather be cold than hot. And it's like, well, then why'd you move to Arizona? That was stupid. But anyway, well, thanks for listening to Moto Warriors. And remember to live your life with the heart of a Viking warrior. Bye for now.